Hello, I'm going to introduce you to research features in the Sirius software. And also these features are in the Kepler software as well. Well, what do we mean by research? There's so many different kinds of research. I'm going to start talking about the kind of research that we often comes to mind, which is to go through a group of charts and see if they have something in them, like do the artists have Sun or Venus in Pisces. Maybe that's an overly simplistic example, but that kind of idea. We want to search through charts to see what's going on in them. Well, here's how we do it. I'm happen to have Barbara Streisand up here, but I'm not actually interested in her at the moment. I'm going to go through my database of charts and see what's going on in them. So I'm going to click on the research feature, or Astro Search. In Sirius, there's an icon for it. In Kepler, we didn't make a special icon for the research. You click on this A, which is the Avalon Lessons, and Astro Encyclopedia and Research would be one way to get to it. So I'll click here, and I'm in the research. And we see there are many kinds of research. The basic research, where you go through a group of charts to see what's in them, is the Astra Signature. So I'll click on that. There you see there's all these other things. Maybe I've talked a little bit about some of these in other videos. I could make detailed videos on each one of these. But let's click on Astra Signature, and here we are. We're ready to see what is in a group of charts. Well, who do you want to research? I selected singers. Up here in the upper left corner of the window is who we are researching. Down here in the lower left is what we're looking for. And then the results will be displayed here. Very simple. Who do you want to look at? What astrological things do you want to look for in there? And let's see the results. And we'll click that Begin Analysis when we're ready to go through the charts. So let's select a group of charts. I click on this button to select a group of charts. And I'll click on this menu item to select a specific category. If I wanted to search my data, all the data that I've entered, I could just click there. But let's click here. And now I select the group of charts. And what I had done right before I started this video, thinking about what I would talk about, was I clicked on musician, and then I clicked on singer. I could research all musicians or specific instruments, and I clicked on singer, and that's what I got. I could click on visual artist and do all visual artists, or just painters, just sculptors, etc. But let's go with the singer idea that I've already had selected anyway, so I don't really need to select it again. But if I went in here, I could select singer, click OK, and anyway, it was already selected, singers. And in Sirius, I can also restrict my search to only charts with a certain accuracy. So I can do A or better, which would be the birth data from memory or a news report or a birth certificate, and I'll do that. I believe that Kepler doesn't have that feature. So just another handy, nice little thing, but you can still go through the database of charts and see what's in them. And then here's what I want to search for, and these are all included with Sirius. So let's say, and also Kepler has these. Let's say I want to know who the most romantic singer is. That would be interesting. So we'll click on Begin Analysis, and that's it. So you now know how to do the research. The only thing I haven't explained yet is how to do your own search, which is the next thing I'll show you. Okay, so you saw what happened. It counted through. We have 139 singers in the database, and it's showing the results over here. It went off the little area that I'm capturing for this tutorial video, so I'll drag this down here so you can see it. Now in Kepler, by the way, it doesn't pop this up. You have to click on a button over here to say Show Details. But in Sirius, it pops it up automatically. And here it is. The most romantic singer is Ricky Martin, and so on. And why is he so romantic? Well, if I click on his name, it'll let me jump right to the details about him. You see the idea? If I clicked on Paul Simon, I could get the details of his chart. So score details of this chart, and it jumps right down so I can see Paul Simon. If I want to see Ricky Martin, score details of this chart, and I'm at Ricky Martin. So I can see all the details of any person. I can see who scores the highest. So it's fun. You can explore the data. And he's considered to be romantic. He gets 4 points for having Venus in the 8th house. With the current house system that's selected, I could go down there and see. 3 points for Moon in Pisces, etc. A lot of points if you use midpoints, which are included in this one. Venus conjunct Mars, Neptune midpoint. Add all this together and he scores very high. So that's the idea. You can put any combination of astrological influences. You can weight them, so you give more romantic emphasis to, say, more romantic emphasis was given for Moon in Pisces than for Mars in Pisces. So you can create your own weights, whatever you think, and see who comes out strongest. If you want to just research one thing, then you don't need all this. Just put in one thing. If you want to know who has Venus retrograde, just search for Venus retrograde. So that's it. What I want to show you now is how to create your search instead of just using one that comes with the software. By the way, in Sirius, if I clicked on that name, you might have noticed I can get a pop-up wheel or the score details or do both. So if I do the pop-up wheel, that's kind of cool. So there's, Ricky Martin's planetary positions, and I can see that, in fact, he does have Moon and Mars in Pisces, and Moon is at the very end of Pisces. So, you get the totals, and then you can explore the data. I believe Kepler doesn't have the pop-up wheel, if I remember correctly. So that's the thing about Sirius, just adds more and more little goodies to the program. But even the research features in Kepler are fantastic because you can search through the database. You get tens of thousands of charts with the program, so you can do that research. Always there's cute, nifty little additional goodies with Sirius. And those people that have Kepler can upgrade to Sirius if they want to, and they don't have to, pay the full price for it. There's an upgrade price. Okay, so you have the idea. Let me go back to this window where we made the selections. And we had selected singers, we had selected romantic. Here's a summary of the results, and then there are separate windows that I can go to. They're all available simultaneously, and I can come back to this window. So here's the detailed results, here's the summary results. Okay, how do we create our own Astro Signature? Right there. New search. You can call it a search, you can call it an Astro Signature, whatever you want to call it. Or if I want to customize the current one, let me show you the customize. I'll customize the highlighted Astro Signature, or maybe I just want to view it. So customize or just look at it. Look at all these things to make you romantic. So maybe Sun in Taurus is slightly more romantic than some other signs, so we give it just 1 point. You can give something a very small weight if it's slightly more inclined to that than, say, a different sun sign. And you see here midpoint structures. If you want to add an item, you just insert new item. It says it added it. And now I've got this, and I would just change it to what I want to change. I'll show you this again in a minute. We'll create our own. Let me cancel out of this. Okay, I'm canceling out. Did not save my changes. So what I showed you is this customize, which is also handy just to see what's in the Astro Signature. If you're just curious about what's in it, you don't necessarily want to change it. Now, we want to do our own search. So we'll click on this new search Astro Signature. By the way, in Kepler, I think these are slightly differently done as one button. We separated them out. Same idea. You'll see if you have Kepler, it's same basic idea. So I'm going to click on New Search. And let's say singing talent. Let's see if our singers, if we can see, if what we think singers should have astrologically, let's see if they really do. And I could make my singing talent Astro Signature the same as the current one I'm looking at, romantic, in case I wanted to just make a few changes to it without disturbing it. Or I could start completely new. I want to start completely new. I make the Astro Signature. That's it. I'm ready to make my search for, my characteristics, my astrological variables, what we often call an Astro Signature for singing. Category already exists. Name already exists. Oh, I had created this before. I already have an Astro Signature called Singing Talent because I had made one earlier. Let's call it Singer. It's what we expect singer ability. I'll give it a different name. If you try to make an Astro Signature and there's already one with the same name, it won't allow you. When I was preparing to make this video, I had already made one. Alright, so I'm going to call it Singer ability. And now it tells me it's going to take me in there to that window that we saw before to make my Astro Signature. So here I am. What do you think makes singing talent? Any ideas? I can't hear you, so... but maybe Taurus. Some people say Taurus makes good singers. Sun in Taurus. How many points should we give it? 5? Now, so I've got zodiac sign selected. The default was just to give me one item, Sun in Aries. I'm going to change it to Sun in Taurus. I'll give it 5 points. I can click on this Update Now button. And here's my list of things. If I only want to search one thing, I just search one thing. But if I want to combine a lot of things, I can do that too. For example, let's add a new signature. Up here are buttons. I'll insert a new item. You get the idea? Here's my list of things I want to search for. I can give them weights. If you only want to search for one thing, just put one thing in there and it'll search for it. But let's do Moon in Taurus. I'll click the Update Now and it updates my list. Let's insert another item and let's make it an aspect. So I can do aspects, midpoints, declinations, speeds. I'll do aspect. I don't know. What aspect would make you a good singer? Maybe Mercury conjunct Venus? I'm just making something up. The angle would be 0 degrees. Applying orb, I don't know, 3 degrees, whatever you want to do. Separating orb, 3 degrees. Strength, suppose I don't think it's as important as Sun and Moon in Taurus. I'll give it only 2 points. Update Now, there we go. Now, see if you figured this out. It's a little tricky. How would you do Venus retrograde? Or maybe you think Venus retrograde is bad for singing, so you want to make sure Venus is direct. How would you do it? Okay, you got any ideas? Well, first I'm going to add an item. And it told me to add an item and just made a duplicate. Well, it doesn't say anything about retrograde direct here. The things I can do harmonic signs and fixed stars. I can do essential dignities, specific degrees. But here's speed. And I'll select Venus. And let's make sure it's direct. It says angle. It should probably say speed there. Speed would be from 0, direct. And I'll make some just huge number, like 5 degrees. Venus never goes 5 degrees in a day. So it's going to range from, if I click on Update, it says Venus speed between 0 degrees and 5 degrees direct. So there I've got it. I've got Venus direct. And let's give that just 1 point. I'll change my setting here for strength, and I'll give it just 1 point. Update Now. And now it shows I've got, if you have Sun in Taurus, you're going to get 5 points. If you have Moon in Taurus, you'll get 5 points. Mercury conjunct Venus within 3 degree orb. And I can click on that to see the details. We'll get 2 points. The default setting I can show you is that as the aspect gets stronger, in other words, the orb gets smaller, you get more points. In order to demonstrate that really nicely, I'm going to give this a lot of points. Let's give it 10 points. So that way, if the orb is almost exact, you'd get 10 points, and as it reaches maximum orbit, it would go all the way down to 0. So that's a nice thing to do. You can set it so all aspects get the same strength or proportionally stronger as it gets closer. So there it is. I'll save that. Okay, it saved it. And I'll begin my analysis. I've got Singer ability selected. Begin the analysis. And those singers who have Sun in Taurus or Moon in Taurus, Mercury conjunct Venus, and Venus direct are going to get more points. And here's the results with the details. And these singers scored the highest. So let's see if popular singers, Celine Dion, I can click on her. I can say show me score details. And she has Mercury conjunct Venus with a very small orb, 0 degrees 40 minutes. So it got almost all 10 points. Got, 7.8 out of 10 because the orb is small relative to the 3-degree orb I allowed. And the Venus speed is direct, which is true for most people, so she got 1 point for that. Let's look at Clint Black. Score details. He also has Mercury conjunct Venus. Orb is slightly bigger, so a little bit fewer points. So he ends up, slightly lower than Celine Dion. Now you may have noticed it says multiplied. The total is 8.06, but it multiplies it by 98. Why did it do that? That's done to set an average score higher. Typically the average score would be around 100, and you know what? The average score is 251. It looks like our simple little formula might have worked. What we can do is run this formula on another group and see if they also score as high. So in other words, our singers have an average score of 251. Some of them, like Amy Winehouse, don't have any of these things, and some have a lot. So that's the kind of research you can do. By the way, I can also click on Celine Dion and get that pop-up wheel and actually see a chart wheel. So that's nice for exploring the ideas so we can see what's happening. And there's the Mercury conjunct Venus that gave her a lot of points. And we can see that the orb would match what it would say in the listing. If I close this thing, I'll click on Celine Dion and show both the pop-up wheel and the details. Here's the details for Celine Dion. Orb is 40 minutes, and there it is, 40 minutes. So the pop-up wheel is not available in Kepler. It is in Sirius. So very nice. You can explore the data, see what's going on. If you just want to search for one thing, say you want to know who has Mars square Uranus with a 5-degree orb, then just create a search, you can call it, or an Astra Signature with just that. I think you've got it, right? That's what there is. Now, I'm curious. Did I stumble on something that actually worked? Average score for singers is 251. Let me pick a different group. I'm going to go up here to change category. Let's select a completely different group, like scientists or something. Let's see. We can do biologists, chemists, all biologists, chemists, engineers, technical, mathematicians, astronomers. Let's do that. Click OK. And now I'm going to run my singer ability. I'll click on Begin Analysis on people that are not singers. The average score for singers was 251. And it's going through, counting up. You see up here in this right corner, it's counting up. I don't know how many of these engineers and physicists and astronomers we have, but in the database it appears we have a lot. Um, 281, and it looks like it's, well, no, it's still going. So as soon as that's done, we'll see the total, and we'll see if the scientists have just as high a score as the singers do. And they might, because I'm just making something up, but it would be kind of interesting to see if it might be different. Well, it looks like I've got hundreds and hundreds of these. I might have the ones in from, there it goes, done, 694. Well, look at this. The average score of 695 scientists is 187. It's actually a little bit lower. That may or may not be significant, but it is interesting. Okay, so you have the idea of how to do the research. I think I'm at a close here for one tutorial video. I just wanted to give you an idea of how you search through the database. If you have an idea of something you want to look for and you're curious to see how many people have that in a group of charts, you can do it. And up here we saw that not only do you get the totals, you get the details. If you've been looking at more than one thing, such as we did with Sun and Moon and Taurus and Mercury conjunct Venus and so on, you get the details. You can jump to the details of a particular individual. In Sirius, you also get a pop-up wheel, which is handy, so you can explore the data and verify and see it in the chart in context. That's it. That's the Astra Signature research. There are many, many research features. If I return to previous menu, you see all these menu items. The assumptionless research is when you don't know what might be in the charts and you want to explore the data. That would be a fun one to make a tutorial video on. So all these different research features that you can use. I think the Astro Signature is probably the most fundamental and basic one that we use for many astrologers just to see what's going on in a group of charts. It's fun. Just as you're just curious. Gee, I wonder if these charts have this. And with thousands of charts included in the program, I think Sirius has what, 60,000 charts? I forget. Kepler 40,000 or something. Lots of data in there, constantly being improved and updated with each new version, so that you don't have to enter lots of data to do the research. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. God bless. Namaste.